the INFOWARS Nightly News. It is Friday, May 9th, 2014, and I'm Leanne McAdoo. Well, apparently, a Mexican drug cartel had a stash house in St. Paul, Minnesota. And when 30 pounds of meth and $200,000 was stolen from the home, the people who were thought to be involved were tortured and kidnapped by the drug cartel. But you'd never know that because the official press release that was released by the Department of Justice described the incident and simply omitted this vital information. This is, of course, because it's amid national discussions of immigration reform and all of the debates that are regarding the importance of border security. They just decided to omit these little tidbits of information. The U.S. Attorney's Office described the men as having roles in a large-scale methamphetamine trafficking organization. You don't say. Now, this isn't the first time that the Department of Justice has downplayed the reach of Mexican drug cartels inside the United States. This is, of course, to convince people that the borders are safe and secure. And the Department of Homeland Security has admitted in congressional testimony that they don't even keep track of cartel violence in the U.S. This, of course, allows them plausible deniability. So they don't have to admit that. But we are told that we are being spied on, and the Department of Homeland Security is working so hard to protect the nation and protect us inside of our borders. Meanwhile, they're giving a pass to the drug cartels and the criminals who are already in the country. Of course, the American people will be outraged if they knew the true reach of these drug cartels and probably aren't just going to open up the borders. Now, John McCain, he says, you know what? Who cares if the Department of Homeland Security is not really doing that great of a job? We should just get used to being spied on. He said, this is the world we live in. Just get used to it. In response to a question regarding his thoughts on the whole Donald Sterling controversy, the senator told a radio show that Americans should accept the notion that their private conversations are being recorded by the government, even in the privacy of their own homes. He said, it's the world we're living in. You don't like it, but everything I say, I expect to be recorded. It's just the way we live, Dan. It's something you've got to accept. So now we have to accept that something we do or say in the privacy of our own home could get us in trouble and be used against us, a la Donald Sterling, who is now having his private property taken away from him. They're forcing him to sell his team. But what this is he's just trying to massage it into your brain that you're not even allowed to think inside your own home. You're not allowed to have your own personal thoughts, even if they are repulsive, racist thoughts, what Donald Sterling was caught on tape saying, allegedly. But you know what? We're not allowed to even think. Just ask Christian twins David and Jason Benham. Their HGTV show was canceled just one day after a report came out saying they didn't like their Christian ideology. This was a report issued by People for the American Way, and they said that they were, in 2012, they told a conservative radio host that America's Christian majority must repent for tolerating homosexuality and its agenda that's attacking the nation and the demonic ideologies that are taking our universities and public school systems. The brothers, of course, have now responded to this, saying they're saddened to hear about HGTV's decision, basically saying all the grotesque things that can be seen and heard on TV today, you'd think there'd be enough room for two twin brothers who are faithful to our families, committed to biblical principles, and dedicated professionals. If our faith costs us a television show, then so be it. So here, once again, we are witnessing this agenda to silence people, and especially Christians. These guys weren't planning on making their show a faith-based show. They were just going to have fun flipping houses, but because of their Christian beliefs, their show gets canceled. Meanwhile, an atheist TV channel is set to launch this summer because the creators there say there just isn't enough out there that's with godlessness and celebrating godlessness. It's a New Jersey-based atheist group. They want to reach out to atheists, humanists, free thinkers, and others who are just simply looking for a way out of faith, and they're going to be propagating godlessness. And the spokesman says, there's a glut of religious TV programming out there, from televangelists to Christmas specials, but there's no atheist channel, so we just wanted to fill that void. Now, I really do not know what these guys are talking about, because you can flip to any channel on the television. If you have 500 cable channels, you can have even more immorality and godlessness in your face. I really don't know what this guy is speaking about. And the twins are absolutely right. There is a whole demonic ideology that is taking the university and the public school systems by storm. Just ask Harvard. They are planning to hold a satanic black mass reenactment on Monday as part of their cultural studies. Now, the mass will be performed by the Satanic Temple, and they're going to provide narration on the academic and historical aspects of a satanic mass. Now, the Satanic Temple is the same group that is going to be having that statue of the kid-friendly Baphomet installed on the grounds of the Oklahoma State Capitol. But the temple leader says, hey, don't worry, the host of the mass won't be consecrated because they neither believe in nor invoke the supernatural. They're saying it's just a representation of a satanic ritual as part of a student-led effort to explore different cultures. See, so if you want to worship Satan, or if you want to go sit on Baphomet's lap, that's fine, because there is freedom of religion, unless your religion is Christianity. Then you need to keep your mouth shut. Now, apparently, it's gotten so bad, a number of Catholics in Rome are saying that the decline of the religion in the West has gotten so bad, it's plaguing people. They're creating this rise in the black magic and the occult, and they're now training more exorcists. They're going to be a 6-day meeting in Rome to train about 200 Roman Catholic priests from more than 30 countries. They'll be training them in how to cast out evil from people who believe themselves to be enthralled to the devil because of the increasing number of lay people tempted to dabble in black magic, paganism, and the occult. So now they are going to be pushing this because there's just so much godlessness in the world, and people are just going crazy. It's so in your face. I'm going to be doing a more in-depth report on just how in your face it is. That'll be coming out on Monday, but it is truly sickening to see what all is out there and how immoral things have gotten, and how it's being promoted by the Illuminati mainstream media as just this wonderful and innovative new technology that we should all just embrace. It's the world we live in now, right, John McCain? Now, it's not just going to be Christians who are facing persecution currently. The FBI is also coming after all of those Bundy supporters. They said anyone of those patriots out there who were supporting Cliven Bundy, they've launched an investigation into the alleged death threats, intimidation, and possible weapons violation. The police said they feared for their lives that day because of the assembled firepower and because many in the crowd had pointed weapons at officers, taunted them, and told them that they should be ready to die. Now, forget the fact that we have video of the cops tasering people, pushing down an older woman, kicking people, sicking their dogs on them. They were the aggressors in that. It's on video. They were telling the people to stay where they were or they would shoot them. We will shoot you. I mean, all of that is caught on video. They were the ones making the death threats. So it's just totally Orwellian, but it is not the time to back down. You've got to continue standing up to this intimidation. File complaints of your own. You can find the link where Bundy is filing some complaints of his own. That's up at INFOWARS in one of our articles. But basically, we just can't allow the police to engage in their scare tactics and their abuse. And now the FBI is going to try and intimidate people as well. But even people in the town, they went to the council meetings there, and they all were in support of Cliven Bundy and all of his supporters. They said that if local law enforcement officers had been performing their duties, the militia wouldn't have been needed. Now, coming up later in the show, David Knight is going to be speaking with a former police officer turned attorney. He was so fed up without being able to get anything done inside the system that he went outside of the system, and now he is going to be using the law to check law enforcement. That's coming up right after this.
Hey guys, Rob Dew here and Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs. I saw this video last night and it just, sometimes you see something, you go, there's something not right about this. I knew it was fake. It was on the Mail Online. It's got about 600,000 views now. What is this mysterious aircraft film blitzing Taliban base in Afghanistan? Footage shows UFO blasting terrorist encampment. So I sent the video to Joe. We got together this morning. He debunked it in about 10 minutes, and we're going to show you what we found. And also weapons that are out there that are out of this world that are currently being used. So, while this is a pretty interesting video to watch and share and throw around there are some serious things out there that we are going to discuss. But first, let's go to the video. Joe, I'm going to hit play on this and tell us what we're watching.
Well, as you can see, you've got this horribly edited in UFO flying around that they're saying is a actual UFO getting ready to attack a Taliban base. Now, if I was a Marine, I've got a lot of buddies who are Marines. I was in the Army. One thing I do know about them, something like this goes off, they're yelling and screaming. There's no way that these guys are just quiet, sitting there holding their camera. Second of all, I've been to combat, and I've seen an explosion similar to that. So when he showed me that video, made me run through a few ideas. At first, I was thinking, maybe a couple different javelins or something like that. But then I was thinking an F-22 delivers what's called a JDAMs. Now, it shoots out and then busts off into 8 different missiles and then hits. So what we did is I went to YouTube, pulled up some JDAMs footage, and needless to say, it's the exact same explosion. All right, they've called in an F-22, and they're waiting on a payload to come in for the JDAMs. And when you see this explosion, you'll see the explosion at the bottom originate, and then you'll see it come at the top like it did in the UFO video right there. How it shoots off like that, that shows that it's flying at that angle.
And then there's a second explosion, just like the video that we just saw. So right there, you're looking at the same exact weapon, and so there, it's debunked right there. But then what I did was I took the video and slow it down, and I'm going to show you that right now. So here it is, slow motion. You can watch this thing, watch it jump up and down. The camera doesn't even move, and you'll see it jump up and down. Right, it's going to happen right here. See, there it does. Right after the camera moves, it starts moving back and forth. Like it's definitely not in the frame while it's being shot. And I'll play that again one more time, full screen for you guys to see. And you could actually see that it moves up and down when the camera's not even moving. A telltale sign that you're looking at something fake.
Nice try, guys, though.
It's clever. Probably it's a promo for some new sci-fi thriller that's going to come out about aliens and alien technology.
Or maybe it's the way that they want to scare Putin to think that we have that kind of technology.
Right, exactly. So here we want to show you some things that are being used by our military and the military police against citizens, against insurgents, against terrorists. Back in 2009, I was actually here. I witnessed this. I was on this street in the western side of Pittsburgh. It was a neighborhood, and the cops were using the sound cannon LRAD on protesters. It would launch out a command and then give you a high-pitched squeal that would make everybody run in terror. This was originally invented to be used against insurgents in Iraq. And
the Incredible Hulk.
Right, and now they're using it against people here in the United States. It's been used many times since then. It's called the LRAD. It sits right on top of these tanks. It's a giant sound speaker that can be aimed. You can turn it up to different levels. You can see footage of it in Police State for the rise of FEMA. Now, Business Insider had an article that came out in 2011 talking about lots of different weapons that are being used. Here's an invisibility cloak that makes tanks disappear. Now, you scroll on up through this. They also have a phaser rifle, which shoots out a laser blast, blinding people. Definitely alien-type technology. Here's a wall of tasers used to combat protesters coming to a protest near you, no doubt. Here's like a drone-type tank.
That's like a carrier of some sort. You can walk around and they can follow you.
Really?
Yeah.
It's to provide backup, essentially, but this is unmanned. Here's the microwave gun. This came out in 2008, and basically, if you're walking towards it, it'll heat up the layer of skin right underneath you and cause burning sensations. Being used in wartime, also going to be used here. Here's another laser weapon that's being used. I'm going to put a link here below, and you can actually go watch a video Alex made about a year ago about lasers being used and how they're being used in the United States. We melted Star Wars figurines.